Good evening. This is a call to order the Bridgeport Board of Education regular board meeting. Today's May 27th, 2025, and we have a quorum at 6:34. Can we all rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all. Mr. Benahan, can you do roll call?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair. Christine Baptiste Paris. Akeisha Casimir,
Here.
Marisa Estremera Jimenez,
Here.
Mr. William Medina, Ms. Jennifer Paris,
Here.
Mr. Joseph Sutcliffe,
Present.
Mr. Robert Traver,
Keep going.
Mr. Andrew Watson. You had a quorum, Madam Chair.
Next on the agenda is student representative reports. You could just use the microphone, right?
Hi, my name is Ashley Beckford. I attend Fairchild Wheeler Area. Thank you for the opportunity to present on behalf of my school. I'm excited and proud to announce that Arrow has officially been recognized by Project Lead the Way as a distinguished high school of the 2024 to 2025 school year. The PLTW Distinguished School recognized honor schools committed to increasing student access, engagement, and achievements in their PLTW programs. We are excited to have another new banner to hang in our hallways as a source of our pride. A few new recent updates from Arrow include we had a great multicultural night on Thursday of last week. Student parents and community members came out to celebrate the diverse cultures and share their cuisine, cultural traditions, music, and more. A special thanks to board member Mr. Sokolovic. I'm sorry. For coming to support us. Our Disney trip was a huge success over the past weekend. Students were raving about their experiences seeing the behind the scenes in the Disney Imagination campus. The mechatronic lab, where the robotic motions was on display, was a huge hit, as was the hands-on experience of designing their own theme park. We're wrapping up most of state and district testing required for the school year and are now focused on our final exams, which will begin June 2nd for seniors and June 6th for everybody else. Thank you for your continued support of our school and campus and for the opportunity to represent Fairchild Wheeler Aerospace School.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Bika, and I'm in 11th grade at Central High School representing them. This week, we held our honorable ceremony where medals were awarded to students who achieved high academic marks for 3 consecutive marking periods. It was a wonderful moment of recognition for their hard work and dedication. Last week, a group of students, including myself, had the opportunity to meet with representatives from the Nutrition Division of the Connecticut Department of Education. We shared feedback and discussed ways to improve Central's catering and lunch services, which were based on our experiences throughout the school year. Now, tomorrow, we'll also be holding a National Honor Society inauguration ceremony where new members will be formally inducted in recognition of their academic excellence, leadership, service, and character. Also today, we welcomed recruiters from the United States Marine Corps who spoke to our career, college, and readiness students about the opportunities and pathways available in the armed forces. We've also been looking to a week full of excitement and celebration. Prom is scheduled for this Friday, and on Thursday, we'll be honoring the class of 2025 along with 5 outstanding juniors who were specially selected for recognition in academics. We are also very proud to share that 2 of our student athletes were recently recognized as scholar athletes, one in volleyball and the other in track, for excelling both on the field and in the classroom. Last week, we also completed all advanced placement makeup exams, ensuring every student had a fair chance to complete their assessments. Graduation, as of now, remains on track and is scheduled for June 13th. Preparations are well underway, and we're all looking forward to celebrating our seniors' achievements. Our boys varsity volleyball team also continues to perform strongly and remains active in the state tournament pool. We as a school are all cheering them on. In civic engagement, several of our students attended Bridgeport Day at the Hartford Capitol last Monday, and they represented Central with pride and enthusiasm during their celebration. And in terms of planning, scheduling for the 2025 to 2026 school year has been mostly finalized. Our counselors work closely with students, and overall, feedback about course selections have been very positive. Finally, our teachers are currently meeting in pathway groups, working collaboratively to strengthen support systems and increase post-secondary success for all of our students. That was all for Central. I look forward to more news soon. Thank you.
Thank you both. Um, we have one more board meeting coming up for the regular school year, so we look forward to seeing you. And we even thank you both for coming out and continuing to join us at our meetings. I'll let the record show Mr. Traber has joined and Mr. Woodson's online. The next item on our agenda is public comment. We do not have anyone signed up, so we'll move on to approval of the meeting minutes from the regular meeting on May 12th, 2025. Moved by Mr. Benahan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Sokolovic. Any changes or anything to that? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Stay.
Mr. Sokolovic abstains. That one carries. The next item on the agenda is the chairman's report. I'm gonna give an update on the status of the Board of Education's training. So far, we've had 5 trainings. The most recent training, we worked on our goals and established some performance goals that I sent the final draft to all you this evening, right before the meeting. So these are things that we went over in the meeting, but it's on paper now, or you'll have it in your email. But those goals include establishing a vision for the district. And that's going to be sort of a long-term goal because we're, that entails a strategic plan process. So that'll be one of our goals. We also want to focus on enhancing student achievement. We're going to be working with the superintendent on thought exchange surveys and designating time at each board meeting to review student achievement throughout the district. Another part is ensuring fiscal responsibility. So we'll have a budget binder by September 1st of this year. And we'll keep reviewing our policies on our budget. We also will be working on improving the relationship with the board and the superintendent's office. We want to make sure that we're adopting bylaws for our decorum as a board, as well as upholding any of our current bylaws and adopting new ones as needed, and collaborating with the superintendent's office. And then our last area is reviewing the subcommittee structure to make sure that we're effectively using the time of the board and the staff, and ensuring that we have policies in place. Again, a lot of it has to do with making sure our policies are updated and in place. The next board meeting for the trainings is going to be next Monday, June 2nd. Bless you. And that is going to be at 6:30 at Harding High School in the library. And that'll be noticed tomorrow. And that's going to be focusing on community engagement. So we'll have a consultant here to lead that training with CABE. I want to remind folks about the district talent show. I'm sure that Dr. Ager will be doing that in his report too, but the district talent show is this week at the Klein. So for anybody out there, please purchase tickets to attend. There's information on our website about that. I'll leave it at that. Any questions for me? Mr. Traber?
Yeah, the next training is next Monday.
Yes,
Where?
June 2nd at Harding's Library.
And the outstanding teacher is at Harding on the second.
Yes,
So what time does our training start?
6:30.
Thank you.
Any other questions, referrals? All right, we'll move on to committee reports. The Finance Committee met last Wednesday, sorry. And we moved to the full board, an item today on the continuation of a grant, the Catalyst grant. And so that'll be discussed later tonight in new business. And we also moved the CABE membership to the full board to approve the upcoming year's membership. In the next Finance Committee is scheduled to meet on the third week of June. There may be a meeting sooner, so I don't have a date yet. And I'll work with Dr. Avery's office to make sure we have a date soon, as soon as possible. Any referrals? I have yours, but go ahead, you can say it out loud.
Okay, which one you got?
Mr. Colvin, go ahead.
This discussion of the order of magnitude of budget cut reversals in light of additional funding from the city, that's one. And the second one is discussion on possibly seeking legal action, legal opinion on the city of Bridgeport's attempt to skirt the MBR by including $875,000 in another department's budget. They did the same thing back in 2019. If we were getting that $1.2 million in the MBR, we'd have an additional $7 million in the bank right now, which would probably be able. So I think this time we really need to seek a legal opinion and to make sure the money goes into our budget directly. It's this education funds, the MBR is there for a reason.
Any other referrals for Finance Committee? The next committee, Instruction and Support Services.
Our meeting is tomorrow night at 5:30 in room 305. Notice is posted.
Any referrals for Mr. Traber's committee? All right, next committee, Policy and Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last meeting, as you guys can see, we did a lot of work, so a lot of things will speak for itself with a lot of the state mandates. There's only a few that are going to be going out for second read. Our next meeting would probably be a special meeting, but if everything goes June 11th, but I know we have our last board meeting June 9th. So I probably won't have that meeting for June 11th. Try to have it before that. That way we can bring things up to the board. But officially, our next meeting should be June 11th. But I'm going to try to do something prior to that. If there's any referrals, I'll accept those now.
Mrs. Galvin.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody got the email from CABE about the call for resolutions. Resolution, I would like to refer call for resolutions to submit to CABE. It's got to be approved by the full board. I think policy is a great place to put it, and we could come together and vote on it for a full board for referral. For anybody who don't know what it is, call for resolutions is something that CABE hasn't been advocating for that the board would like them to advocate for as a whole.
Any other referrals? The next committee is Facilities Committee. We have not met since the last board meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for next Wednesday. However, that is adult ed graduation. So I'll work with the Facilities Department and Dr. Raby's office to schedule a meeting. Are there referrals? Mr. Traber?
Yes, we've discussed it several times, a plan for public input on the East End, the new East End school. And I don't know if the superintendent is going to speak to that tonight or not. But you know, if he's not, I'd like to see it on your agenda next Wednesday, your next facilities agenda, where we can discuss it. Because I think we need to get serious about discussing how we're gonna do serious outreach to the community.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other referrals? All right, the CABE update, the CABE report, there's, do you have anything? I know the legislative session wrap up. Yeah.
June 10th.
On June 10th, the legislative session wrap up for CABE is happening at the Capitol, right?
Yes.
I know Danielle has received emails from some board members who want to attend. So for any other board members, please email her tonight so she can sign everybody up if you would like to attend. So yeah, Mr. Tabor,
Did we determine if it was an additional cost to the board or not?
it is, it is.
Okay, it wasn't clear in the emails I read.
The emails, yeah, there's $60.
I read this afternoon, it wasn't clear. So
Any other? No, okay. Moving on, the superintendent's report, Dr. Avery.
Good evening, everybody. Again, as you walk through the doors this evening, you were able to see student projects by the Alan Wallach STEM Center. And in attendance tonight, we have a few members from the Alan Wallach STEM Center. The Executive Director for Hall Neighborhood House, Robert Zurenda, and board member, donor of Hall Neighborhood House, John D. Mehta. All right. STEM educator Lynn Olens, an academic technologist Teresa Welch, and Robert. And so Robert's going to come up and present highlights about the Alan Wallach Center this evening. So, absolutely, John. Absolutely. Can you?
Oh, yeah, can you just?
Again, my name is John DiMatti. I'm a board member at Hall Neighborhood House. My best friend, Alan Wallach, worked for the Board of Education, City of Bridgeport, for 37 years. He was a teacher, administrator, and he was the athletic director. After he retired, he went back to work for the board as a full-time consultant, spent another 17 years in the maintenance and facilities department. Alan was dedicated to the kids of the city of Bridgeport. On his passing, and no one over those 54 years will ever understand all he did for the kids within his job description and outside of his job description. The first night of Alan's Shiva, I was having a conversation with one of the people that he helped tremendously, a fellow named Steve Salem, who he coached and mentored his whole life. Steve grew up to be the executive vice president and managing director of the Cal Ripken Foundation. Steve and I made a commitment that we're going to do something to honor Alan. The next morning, I called Bob Zarenda up, Hall Neighborhood House, put everyone together. And what we decided was we were going to try and introduce STEM learning centers to the city of Bridgeport. At that time, the Ripken Foundation had 200 of these across the country at a cost of $40,000 each. 2 years later, they now have 600. It's a tremendously successful program. So we went to work implementing the program. My wife and I made the cornerstone donation to make sure the ball would get rolling. And Bob and I went out and we talked almost exclusively to Alan's friends and friends of mine. We raised over $1 million. Okay. And Bob will go into detail how far we've gotten with this thing so far. We're beyond our wildest expectations about the success. And I would ask you all to come out and see this in the schools. The kids light up. It's amazing. I'd just like to finish by adding two things, our two goals. We started in the beginning, our goal was to add an Alan Wallach STEM Learning Center in every school, K through 8 in the city of Bridgeport, so that every child would have access to the same kind of technology and learning that the kids in Greenwich and Darien have. Exactly the same stuff. And our second goal was to do it with absolute sustainability. So this is going to be a long-term program. We're not talking years, we're talking decades. And we're very, very comfortable that we're on the right path. So thank you for your time, and we appreciate it. Bob
Thank you very
Zerinda?
much. Thank you.
Thank you, Board, for giving me the time to speak this evening. As John said, I will try not to duplicate, but currently we're in 22 schools right now. We have 6 more to hit all the middle schools, and they will be up by the end of June. John had mentioned it's $40,000 per school. That includes our support to the teachers, to the school, to the students. So when we provide this technology, we're not relying on the teachers to figure it out. We will go in. We have 2 of our science educators right here. They are a phone call away at Hall Neighborhood House. They will go to the schools, help them and implement it in the classroom. Last Friday, we were at Hallen School for the entire day, and we did a STEM day with every class. And as John had mentioned, we are fully funded right now for this year. We're working on getting the next 3 years fully funded. Again, no cost to the Board of Ed, no cost to the city of Bridgeport. We're hoping that this is a long-term. We're talking to Mr. Trevor when he's coming in about the technology. We know the technology is going to change. It's our intent to keep upgrading the technology. We know products will be broken and things will happen. Phone call away will come in and replace these things. John had mentioned his biggest goal is that if we could spark an interest in a handful of kids, he will be happy with the success of the program. So we know throughout the year, some programs will get stronger and weaker as they go on, but we're here for the schools, for the children, to make sure this program works, and we will continue to support it and fund it fully through our donors and through Hall Neighborhood House. So I invite you to please, if you want to stop by Hall Neighborhood House, we have the hub system there that shows all the products, and then each of the schools to just please go out and visit them and see what we're doing in the schools. So we would love for you just to have your support and just to help us along the way to keep pushing it. So really nothing else is expected from you except your support on this. So thank you.
Yeah, and hold on, Robert and John, I want to take the opportunity to thank you as well, because I've had a chance to engage both of you in your work in trying to make sure that we have a STEM center in every single school. I know that this last 6 that's getting ready to be deployed is going to be done in a couple of weeks now. So very excited about making sure all the elementary schools have a strong STEM center. I know Teresa, and David, I didn't forget you over there. So thank you for engaging. Lynn, they've always been very instrumental in training our teachers to support those labs. I know Teresa's been very instrumental in making sure that support is done district-wide in a way that where, when teachers are, afraid about getting in there, they'll get in there, help them get it done. And it's so exciting. I had an opportunity to go to the Juvenile Detention Center where these things were deployed there with those kids, high school kids, and they were in it. It was just such a great opportunity to see them engaged in just the type of technology that's at their fingertips, and for them to know that we're not forgetting about them as well. We will take our technology from our classrooms into that setting to make sure that they're connected to the things that we're doing that's 21st century.
We'd be happy to work with you on getting some in there also.
Awesome.
And we are working with the Cal Ripken Foundation right now and coming up with a high school program. So we intend to continue this on through high school. And speaking for John, this is something, it's a long-term relationship with us, with the children, with the schools, and we hope that you feel the same way. And we would love for this to be a victory for all of us, through you included, that you can push this along and promote it and put a feather in your cap that this is in all the schools. You know, it's great that the parents and the students have something positive to look forward to. And so we hope that you can take this and run with it also as an owner of this program also. Thank you.
It's just a follow.
Yes, thank you for that. I will definitely be pushing this, but not for us, no further in our cap. Feather belongs to Mr. Alan Wallach. He was a great guy. I met him when I first came on the board. I mean, the science thing kind of took me by surprise, because I knew him as the facilities manager, or whatever position he had at the time. And at the time, he helped my son get a playground at Park City Magnet. That's the first foray into advocacy my son ever had. And every time Alan saw him at a meeting or something, he would update him on the progress of the playground, on the progress of the grant funding. So I would like to thank Alan Wallach for everything he's done in life and in death.
Thank you very much.
If you look across the playground here next to Longfellow School, there's a Cal Ripken baseball field that Alan was instrumental in putting up. He did all the fundraising and whatever, and there was a beautiful plaque for him on the field. Unfortunately, it was stolen, but sure he'd see the irony of that and consider it humorous. He's on.
Replace.
And again, always reach out. I'd love to make sure we stay connected, make sure we're doing everything we need to do to kind of, keep the STEM is very important in the educational field. And so we want to make sure our kids are engaged in that. And so anything we can do, please reach out and make sure that we continue that as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, what we were talking about out in the entrance before I came in was, I remember a program about 10 years ago that the library was running as a sort of after school, or maybe it was a summertime program that they were trying to interest kids, but they were coming into classrooms with really, compared to what I saw on my way in, really rudimentary robotics. And the kids were just enthralled. And mine are 4th or 5th grade kids at the time, but their interest was just overwhelming. And, the kids actually know a lot, because they just know how to get around the internet and look at stuff and inquire about stuff. So the ability to use the tools that you have to pique their interest and help them explore those interests is just staggering.
Yeah, it's definitely, they look like toys, but the students are actually learning coding. They're learning the logic of how to think, problem solving and critical thinking to accomplish a solution to a problem. So when you look at them, it kind of looks like little toys, but for them to move or to program, and it starts at kindergarten, those bees that you saw out there, that's very simple, so that the young children could just get that thought process going. And then as they get more advanced, so it's engineering, it's computer technology, computer programming. So they're learning it without even knowing they're learning it.
All kinds of skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Be almost 20 years in the district, I work very closely with Mr. Alan Wallach. We always care about Bridgeport Public Schools, to be sure our schools is very good. As for me, Mr. Traver, Mr. Succolet, George Garcia, BJ, and other, we work very close to him. He was an amazing person, and I'm happy for this, and I really, be part of that. But, I know God have another things, with him, but I know from heaven, he's blessing our Bridgeport Public School because he got a good passion, and I'm guaranteed that he'd be happy. If he was here, trust me, he would be so very happy. But thank you for bringing this.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I continue my report, I want to give you a little recap of the Bridgeport Day at the Capitol, and I think I have a video. Got a little video for you.
Education. I'm an employee at Bridgeport Military Academy. All right. And I am here to fight for our students and our staff, and we hope that everything works out for us. Thank you. Go Bridgeport.
My name is Dr. Avery, interim school superintendent at Bridgeport Public Schools. And this is Bridgeport Day at the Capitol. So we're here with a lot of community members, tons of kids, really advocating for, Bridgeport Public Schools and the funding that we need for Bridgeport Public Schools.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Al Saki. I'm Assistant Superintendent for Bridgeport Public Schools. Today we are at Hartford for Bridgeport Day. We're here advocating for funds and advocating for the recalculation of the ECS formula so that Bridgeport and bigger cities like Bridgeport can get the necessary funding that we need. So I just want to thank all the families, students, staff, everyone for being here in support of Bridgeport. Thank you.
And again, we had about 200 students, staff, and community partners there, local and state officials. It was just a great opportunity for kids to have a meaningful connection with the legislators and representatives from Bridgeport with pride. And so very happy to say it was very successful as we plan for future years advocacy. We'll do some things a little different, but it was a great start and a great turnout for us as well. I'm going to give you just an update of the next couple of weeks, what's happening across the district. We have a math meet at Sacred Heart at the West Campus Auditorium on Thursday, May the 30th, starting at 9:30. We talked about the Bridgeport District Talent Show, which is Thursday, May the 30th as well, at the Klein Auditorium, beginning at 5 p.m. We have a Teacher Recognition Award ceremony on Sunday, June the 2nd at Harding High School. Monday at Harding High School, June the 2nd. We have 77 teachers that will be celebrated and recognized for their services and contribution to the district. On June 13th, that's a Friday, we have our high school graduations at the Kennedy Stadium here in Bridgeport. Bassick High School starts at 8:30. Bridgeport Military Academy starts at 11 a.m. Harding High School at 1 p.m. Fairchild Wheeler Campus at 3:30 p.m. and then Central High School at 6 p.m. On June 13th. We will also share details on pre-K, kindergarten, 6th grade, and middle school promotion ceremonies as well coming up. Again, thank you for your time and look forward to closing out a great school year. Just want to make sure that as we enter into the summer month, making sure that we stay engaged academically with our kids to kind of make sure that we don't have that loss over the summer breaks. And I know principals and teachers are ready for a disconnect. Well, I think central office staff is too. So we have that coming up as well. I want to make sure that we take some time to spend with our families, enjoy the summer as well. So be safe. Thank you. Any referrals?
Ms. Casimir?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that I had a lot of fun at Bridgeport Day, speaking with the vendors, all the service providers, everybody from color, positive thought to HIV prevention to mental health services. So it was a very nice day, and I had a lot of fun learning. As I walked through the Capitol walls, they had like a little synopsis of each and every single city in Bridgeport and how it started. So that was interesting reading that on my way out. So Dr. Avery, a question that I have for you is Captain Greg. I understand that he is like a city, is he a captain, right? I think he's a captain of the police department. What I wanted to ask is Captain Greg's overtime, when he gets overtime, does the Bridgeport Board of Education pay for his overtime? Or does the city of Bridgeport pay for his overtime? I'm interested to know that.
I think that's settled through the city side. Is my
So
understanding.
the city pays for his overtime.
That is correct.
Okay. And is there any plans at all to incorporate health classes into the curriculum for high school? Because I know we don't have any health classes. At least I don't think we do. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We have curriculum writing planned for the summer.
Yeah, we do have curriculum writing planned for this summer. And I think that's part of the planning process that we're going to be going through is how we're going to write some additional curriculum areas that are needed.
Yes, we are planning on writing curriculum for our health class at the high school. But we do have health classes at the high school currently. They do exist. We're just going to be revamping the curriculum moving forward.
Yeah, I think
Excellent.
one of the things that we're looking at, because there hadn't been any, curriculum written recently. So we wanted to make sure that because some of the standards and things have changed over the years. And so we're now going back and looking how we're going to be able to enhance those classes with new focal curriculum.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to remind parents, read to your kids 20 minutes a day. I want to plead with parents to ask Board of Education members important questions. When you see us out in the community, you see us out at board meetings, ask important questions that you care about and that are important to you. Voting season is coming up. We have 5 seats open that are coming up. And I think that it's important for you to engage with board members as much as you can. I know that parents are strapped for time and everybody has to work 2 and 3 jobs, some of these families, but please, I beg you, vote in your local elections. Local elections, the local people around your city have more control over Bridgeport than President Trump does. So I just want to reiterate that again. I took a very important training called Internet Addiction. So I just wanted to let parents know whenever you have a chance, if you see these workshops coming up, please, Internet Addiction. And that was with the mental health hospital in New Canaan, Silver Hill. Very, very good workshop. It was online. I talked about reading to your kids 20 minutes a day, asking the open-ended question. These are things that teachers have probably already told you, but just to reiterate, the who, where, what, and why questions. Those really jog, make your kids think. It's more than a yes or no questions when you ask open-ended questions. Attend your local PTSO. So this is what I wanted to ask you, Dr. Avery. Besides asking parents, how do they get involved? How do they get involved? Attending your local PTSO and PAC meetings, emailing your children's teacher and asking them exactly what you can do to help, volunteering on field trips, attending Board of Education meetings, of course, voting for the right candidates to represent you and your children. Are there any other things besides that that I haven't covered, Dr. Avery, that parents can do to be more involved in their children's education?
I think you hit some of the major ones there. There's a few other things that I know campus principals are engaging parents about, how they engage in their individual campus buildings as well. And so that's a constant thing that we have to try new things all the time. And so as I know my district staff, that's working with the parental groups as well, they pass down, different tricks of the trade to be able to help engage as well. So, Mr. Traber, you want to add to that?
Ms. Casimir, you're all set?
No, one more comment. Dr. Avery, you and I had a meeting recently and you let me know which board members had paid to go to the upcoming district talent show. I understand that board members don't have to pay to come to the talent show. We can all just walk in and not pay. But for those board members who are really concerned about the financial state of the district, I would encourage board members to pay. It's only $25.02, I think it was, to pay for the K-8 talent show and then for the 9 to 12 talent show. So if we're really concerned about the financial health and status of this district, I encourage every single board member, whether you can't, whether you have to pay or not, to please pay to go to the talent show. I'll be there and I'll definitely be paying attention and following up with Dr. Avery at our next meeting. That's all I had, Madam Chair.
Mr.
Thank you very
Traber?
much.
Thank you. Mr. Traber?
Yes, I would add that we're still in the point where speaking to your state reps and state senators about the money that we can get from Hartford is still important, whether you live in Bridgeport or you don't live in Bridgeport. The decisions over the next 2 weeks, 2 and 3 weeks, are going to be made. The jury is not out yet. The legislators are still fighting with the governor about how much money is going to be allocated for education in the state of Connecticut. And so it is worth speaking to your legislators about repairing, fixing the education cost sharing formula, which has not been fixed in 13 years. The base rate hasn't been raised, and the amount of money that's allocated for special ed, for multi-language learners, and for children living in poverty has not been adjusted in 13 years. In the original bill that was submitted in 3.5 months ago, that would have meant $57 million for Bridgeport. The base rate alone is 20 million for Bridgeport. So we would not only not have to cut, we would be able to restore a para in every kindergarten class. We would be able to hire coaches in language arts and math. We would be able to add more social workers and counselors. We would be able to do all kinds of things that we would like to do in this school system if we had that kind of money. And the education cost sharing system is supposed to be providing money for equity between the poor districts and the wealthier districts in the state. And this every year for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years, the state has realized a surplus in excess of what they expected. More money than they expected, so that the surplus will now exceed $6 billion this year.
All right,
So they can afford it. So please
we're,
speak to your state reps and state senators, because that jury is still waiting to decide. And so when you ask what you can be doing, Ms. Casimir, that's who you need to be speaking to, your state reps and state senators over the next few weeks, because that's what we're still waiting to hear about. Not just the Bridgeport delegation, they're working hard. We know that, but outside the Bridgeport delegation too.
there's a video that needs to be shown. Mr. Sokovic's gonna ask one quick question. There's gonna be a video, and then any questions related to the superintendent's report after that.
Yes, just a quick comment, RE, the talent show. I will be attending the talent show. I will not be paying. I
Okay,
am on a fixed income
listen,
to insinuate that people that aren't not paying, that are going to the talent show, somehow do not care about our children because we've got different financial circumstances is a horrible thing to say and a horrible thing to do. And this is what CABE tells us we should not be doing.
Yep.
So I am going to the talent show. I am not paying. I am glad you're paying, Akeisha. Hopefully you could give the school district a few more dollars to help us out a little more. Thank you.
we're not gonna take any more questions about the payments of a talent show.
I got
You
a
guys can
comment,
discuss
Madam
that on
Chair.
your own. Nobody else can ask that question. I'm gonna move on. We're gonna watch a video on Hall Neighborhood House, and then we're gonna ask questions related to superintendent's report.
Yes, I want to make sure we give due diligence to this video and the kids and the work that's was put into this video because it's amazing. So enjoy.
When kids come to our STEM lab, they get the opportunity to have hands-on experiences. Everything from basically lots of the sciences and engineering. We have robotics, we have things like microscopes, we have different things to build with, we have pre-Kers all the way up to high school students. We have such a varied opportunity of things for kids to do that it's almost unlimited what they can do when they come.
So when you're looking in the STEM Center and you see a kid playing with what are called snap circuits, what you're really seeing is a kid learning electrical engineering. When you see a child playing with a Sphero, which is a spherical robot. What you didn't realize is behind that Sphero Bolt was some coding. And so we're actually teaching a child to be a software engineer.
For this specifically, I changed the direction it would go, how fast it would go, for how long it would go for. When it actually did the path that I wanted it to do, it felt so rewarding because it was just, it finally did it.
One of the things that happens with all of these products that we use in our STEM center is they are the starting points and the building blocks for the careers of the future that help kids to see themselves in a space where they could be a STEM practitioner and even an engineer. So one of the first components that we're going to solder is going to be our fuse. And when you think you've got enough solder, not too much, but just enough. Oh, that's so much better. That's great.
It was nerve-wracking at first, but once you do it a couple of times, it becomes really simple. I feel really proud of myself.
Some of the secondary skills that kids are learning are things like confidence, the grit, how to solve problems, how to attack a problem when you're encountered with it, and for me, most importantly, how to fail. That it's okay to fail, that we say it's not a failure, it's a step towards success, and what to do when that happens. And when we do it in a STEM environment, it's a lot of fun.
To be able to do STEM stuff is really important to me because it's new experiences. You get to do different things each time with coming to places like these. And I like working on coding or doing bio stuff, and this place gives us so many different things to work with, so it's just really great.
Here at Hall, we have the Alan Wallach STEM Lab, but we're fortunate enough to be able to also have it in a number of schools, and we can go out and we're teaching the teachers, and we teach lessons about STEM in those schools. Our hope is that we will continue to expand and be able to have Alan Wallach STEM centers in all the schools to give all the kids here in Bridgeport these opportunities.
They should have access to any of the cutting edge technology that's available in any other place around us. And I say that because we are a place that serves a community that has talents and that has gifts and that has imagination and should be part of the future. And their solutions can change the trajectory of our future. But that starts in a place where kids feel like they can solve the simple problems and the small problems that they're tested with, and that prepares them to solve the problems of tomorrow.
Thank you. For the sake of time, we'll take one more question from Andre Woodson, and then we're going to move on. If there's any other further questions for the superintendent, you can email him. Mr. Woodson?
Yes. Just had a quick question about the talent show. It's $25 per show, or is it just $25 per
Homeschool coordinator.
per?
It's for the whole thing, so $12.50 each.
Oh,
Two
okay.
different shows.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, there's a QR code you can register online. We're gonna move on. Is there more question? Is there a question around that
I don't have a question, but I have a comment from Dr. Every.
about the superintendent report?
Yes.
I just said that anybody else would email them the referral because you have to move on. Nothing about the talent show.
No, it's not talent show. It's about his report.
I didn't offer that to anybody else, so we're gonna move on because other people have questions too. Just you can email him the referral. New business. Approval of the continuation agreement for the SEL climate programming with Catalyst at Barnum School, Bridgeport Military Academy, and Dunbar School.
In the interest of time, since these are all three basically the same programs and the same contract, can we consider them all at the same time?
Yes.
So I make a motion. Should I make the motion? I make a motion to approve the continuation of agreement for SEL climate program with Catalyst CT with Barnum School, Bridgeport Military Academy, and Dunbar School.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Sakalovic and seconded by Mr. Medina. Is there any further debate on this or clarification questions for Ms. Clark? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any, any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank
All right, those are going through. Thank you. The next item is a discussion and possible action of grievances 2890 and 2891. Mr. Casello, coming up for that? There's gonna be a vote for executive session for this. If you would like to, if there's a motion for that, please let me know.
Move to go into executive session.
If we, let me just clarify who
We
would
need-
go in.
I was about to ask.
We would go in with Dr. Saki, Ms. McKinley, and Becca Saxon from the union, and Dr. Avery.
With Dr. Saki, Ms. McKinley, Dr. Avery, and Becca Sachs.
And Mr. Casello.
Saki and Ms. McKinley would only be as needed. They don't need to sit in there unless we have questions.
With Dr. Saki and Ms. McKinley as needed, Dr. Avery and Ms. Saxon and are.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any debate on that, going to executive session? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oppose, any abstentions?
I'll abstain.
It's going to executive session. Online, you have a link. All right. All right, it's 8:29. We're back from executive session. Is there a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to reject grievances number 2890 and 2891.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Sakalovic, seconded by Mr. Medina. Any further debate on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Passes. The next item on agenda is approval of the fiscal year 25-26 K membership.
Madam Chair,
Just a
oh,
quick update on this. We did ask if there was different tiers to membership, and we were initially told there's not, but there is an option for us for the Cape Express. So in addition to the yearly or the annual dues, there's the Cape Express is about $400 or is $400, and that would cover board members and 5 staff to attend different workshops that we would usually have to pay for, such as the legislative wrap up and other workshops throughout the year that include costs. So because of the amount of times we do attend these workshops, this would actually be beneficial for us if we paid in advance the Cape Express. So in addition to the dues that are on the invoice, I'm going to recommend that we also include the Cape Express.
$400 total on top
Yes,
of the.
total.
So if 3 of us went to the, no, 3, no, $75 for the legislative wrap up?
60.
Oh, 60.
Mhm.
So if 7 of us went, that would pay for it right there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And there's there's all our workshops that are cost, like the Day of the Hill has a fee. So the Day on the Hill has a fee that we've attended in the past. And this will also provide the superintendent and 5 staff to attend as well.
I move that we approve the fiscal year 25-26 CABE membership with the Express membership.
It was moved by Mr. Traber and seconded by Mr. Benahan. Is there any further debate on that? All in favor for that, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so we will have the K membership next year with an Express membership. That doesn't, I should have told you this beforehand, but that does not count. The convention is not included in that. Yes. So. Yeah. The next item on the agenda is the approval to suspend bylaws 9310 for the purpose of immediate implementation of the following updated revised policies. Mr. Sakalovic.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to suspend bylaw 9310 for the purpose of immediate implementation of the following updated revised policies. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 8, number 9, number 10, and number 11.
Second.
There's been a motion and it's seconded. This, just to be clear, we're not including number 7 in this motion.
And move number 7, and to also move number 7 down to.
So let's do one motion. Like, so
Yeah.
this motion excluding number 7. Excluding number 7. All in favor of that, say aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, so Mr. Sakalovic,
I would like to make a motion to approve the following updated revised policies. 1, food service personnel standards. 2, charging food service policy. 3, evaluation employment of coaches. 4, drug and alcohol testing for bus drivers. 5, homeless students. 6, sexual harassment Title IX. 8, changing curriculum policy. Challenging curriculum policy. 9, surveys of students, student privacy policy. 10, Title I, parental and family engagement policy. And 11, school climate policy.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sokolovic and seconded by Mr. Medina. Is there any further debate on those?
I would just like to have a little brief discussion about considering these in mass as one motion, approve them all for immediate implementation, as it says on the on my law. They've been thoroughly vetted in committee, discussed, and ready for prime time. They're all state mandated. Most of the language is boilerplate.
Any further debate? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Those pass, Mr. Sokolovic?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to add number 7, amendment policy 6401 to include updated language provided by CABE as proposed in Internet Safety Policy Filtering Children's Internet Protection Act to number 1 and first new business and first read.
Second.
He's moving amendment of policy 6401, sorry, to include moving it to the first read, to make it a first read. That's been seconded by Mr. Medina. Is there any further discussion on that? All right, all in favor to move it to the first read?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the first read and discussion of the following updates. We'll start with amendment of policy 6401 to include updated language provided by CABE as proposed in Internet Safety Policy / Filtering, the Children's Internet Protection Act, policy 6141.323. Dr. Saki, I believe, is going to come up.
Well, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity, board members. And so I have here the two policies, number 1 and number 2. I'm going to have Jeff come up and speak briefly about the first one, the one you just added. And I know that there were some additions that he had made to the policy, which I know that some questions came up about that. So we're going to be going back and looking at that policy, bringing it back to committee with, he had some recommended changes that he had added, which I know raised some additional questions. So we actually went back and took out all of the new recommendations that were made and then just used the current CABE policy. So that's what's currently uploaded. But what we can do is go ahead and look at the additional policies that he had recommended and then re-share the CABE policy with the 2 additional policies. But that would be up to the committee. Is there anything else you want to add on that?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Gassman.
I am not afraid to say right now that I am completely lost in the sauce. Can you please let me know, like, I'm looking at the agenda for tonight. Can you just let me know what item this is? D something, E, whatever number?
Yes. So we passed D and E, all of the items except for number 7 of E.
Yes.
And we moved that to, we moved that to the first read and discussion of following updated revised policies. We want to do a first read on that item. number 7.
Okay. So we're on 7 now.
So right now we're on, it's,
7?
yeah, it's the previous number 7, now it's number 1.
Yeah,
of first read.
no, that's all I needed. Great,
And
thank you.
I'm just
Appreciate it.
confirming, are you looking it up?
Say again.
Are you looking that up for me? Oh, okay. The second read has to go to committee or should?
No, and I think it bears discussing.
Yeah.
Discussing because there was only really one point of question and contention on this policy. I think if we could just possibly strip it or not, vote it up or down, the policy can move forward as is.
So, Mr. Sokolovic, the policy that's currently uploaded has all the 2 recommendations removed from it. It only has the CABE recommendations on it. That's what's currently in the portal.
Right, but the 6401 is not going to be included?
Yes, the additional 2 or 3 recommendations that Jeff had made are not included in what you're looking at.
Yeah,
Through the
no,
chair.
because I popped it open, and the 6401 is still in there. And the main line of contention that was discussed at or disagreement, contention is a loaded word, I guess, is number 5. It was sending material critical of school administration, teachers, staff, or students, or anyone associated with the school district is prohibited. I personally found that. Yeah, that's on this.
Yeah, that language was incorporated, the one that you asked for.
Well, we can't remove it at committee. So it's just for the full board for discussion to see if we have, and my contention for, my reasoning for removing it,
One second. We have let him finish.
yeah, because that language is included in it's in the packet. It's on the page, on the first page, number 5, page 1, 6401. Studying material critical of school administration, teachers, staff, or anyone, a student associated with the school district is prohibited. Now, this applies to both students and staff. Over the last year or two, we've gotten some very not nice emails. You voted the wrong way, or I think that my principal is not doing the right job. So these kids could be potentially, or staff, for speaking out about their jobs or about their schools or about their classrooms and criticizing me. We could have a student criticize us right now, and an expulsion hearing comes up if it's their 5th or 6th thing, and then we say, hey, this kid called me a name, or this kid said I was like not a good board member, and just vote them. I mean, I think it's very chilling effect on free speech for our students.
And it's my understanding that we changed the wording of that.
Yeah.
But that's what should have been uploaded to.
Yeah, I believe it, I'm just double checking the one that's there. It should be sending material that is abusive of school. I believe that was how it was supposed to be worded, abusive of school administration, teachers, student staff, or anyone associated with the school district is prohibited. Because the word was abusive, to be clear.
Okay, well, yeah, well, since that's not in the packet, we could rectify it by making a motion to amend it to include
amend
that
that.
language right on the floor, so we don't have to bring it back to committee.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to amend number 5, sending abusive material critical of school administrations. Does that satisfy what we just said?
Yeah, it's changing one word.
Just adding.
Just adding abusive between sending and material?
It replaces the word critical with abusive, I believe. That was what was
Oh,
asked.
sending abuse, okay.
Us.
So, all right, I'll start over.
Yeah, phrasing.
Restate your motion.
I will make a motion to replace the word in 5, critical, to abusive.
Second.
Been seconded by Mr. Medina. Thank you. Is there any further debate on that motion? So, yeah. Sorry. No further debate. We'll take a vote to amend the word critical to abusive in number 5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So that motion to amend is passed. Mr. Sakalovic?
Well, it goes back to the main motion.
Oh, back
as
to the main
amended.
motion? You want to make, sorry, we're back to the main motion as amended to move this for a second read. Any further debate on that? Did you have something? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure if it wasn't read, because I want to make sure that it's clear that we are amending the policy 6401 by adding the CABE mandatory, the state mandatory policy into that, which we already had the 6401. Want to make sure it's worded correctly. Okay, it's my concern. Thank you.
In favor?
So this is the CAPE policy
So if I may add, yep.
with this policy 6401 that we are just looking at is the CAVE policy with the word critical.
That we changed it. So what that represents, I want to share, no, let me answer your question.
No, I didn't.
So we have, let me answer your question.
I didn't
So
finish.
we
my
have,
question. Can you answer it? The policy with the word critical in it is the CAVE recommended policy.
correct.
Okay.
No.
No, that was part of
Yeah,
the
point of information, I
6401.
believe that was just our policy and not a CAVE recommendation. The CAVE recommendation is the overall policy, which this policy is being incorporated into, correct?
If I may speak to it, yes, just to- for
Go ahead.
for clarification, the Board of Education had a policy that spoke more vaguely about what CABE has in their policy. And so what we did was we took policy 6401 and then we amended our existing policy with the language provided by CABE and then modernized the nomenclature inside of the policy and then are representing it now as the amended policy 6401. Does that make sense?
Okay, so
Question was that word that we just amended part of 641 original, or was it part of policy 6141-323?
It was policy, it was in 6401, the original
There you
committed.
go.
who's ours or
The
CAVE's?
Board of Education policy, yep.
Yeah, because it's pretty outrageous.
So
So
the-
I guess I'm looking at.
Good.
You whispering stuff to me?
No, sorry, my phone.
You can continue.
Silence your phone and silence
We have,
yourself.
okay, there's a motion. Do you have something on the motion? We're debating the motion now, so you have it. So go ahead, continue what you're saying.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I was just saying that even abusive is worrisome to me.
Well, that's been amended, so at this point you can vote for this second read or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I know it's been amended. I'm just saying even worrisome to me because it's subject to interpretation as to what somebody has said about somebody else. But
What is the temperature for removing 5 altogether? Because that was my original proposal.
Board of Education preference. There's not a legal requirement for that, to be clear. This is from our existing Board of Education policy. That would be an administration and board thing in my opinion.
I mean, I would just say we should just be mindful about totally taking that out because, these are our devices as well. So that means we'll be saying that, at any point in time, anything can be said about anyone utilizing our device or even their own device. I just think we should just be careful about taking that out completely.
Was the,
can I make a?
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was just gonna say, that was the purpose of amending the prior one is that essentially it felt that the language is too constricting by saying critical, because critical is entirely subjective, but abusive is specifically showing that there is intended harm. And so that was why, per Mr. Sokolovic's recommendation, it was amended. And at least at the committee level, that appeared to fit the need. I would say that in my professional opinion, it would not be recommended to have nothing because then you have no recourse of any kind in the policy. So that's for what it's worth. But it's administration to the superintendent. So
I would suggest something like instead of prohibited, discouraged or a word like that, that prohibited is like absolute. Discouraged is more flexible. That's the problem is you get into, you've done something. I feel abused by what you wrote. I feel criticized by what you wrote. And we get into touchy-feely versus, and then discouraged may not be the right word. There may be a better word than discouraged, but you're trying to say, don't do that. We're saying the rules say don't, this kind of behavior is, we don't want to see this kind of behavior. I get that, but when you prohibit it and somebody engages in it, which is an American right, there is a line which somebody shouldn't cross. I get that.
Well,
Where that line is subject to norms in our society. And what that norm is, it's judged in different ways, the collective bargaining agreements or the, other things. But that's sort of like what we're trying not to create a rule here.
Well, this is from our platform, I'm using our devices though.
That's
This
correct.
is
So
like,
to
if-
be clear,
yeah, they want to send an email from their personal device and stuff like that. They have that right, but this is, they're using our devices.
the Board of
to do this.
Education is within its right
It should
to
be prohibited.
dictate the proper usage. That is within.
Ms. Casimir. Ms. Casimir?
I'm sorry. Is it okay to use both words? Like, would it be harmful to use both and say and? One and the other, or, because, abusive is finite to me. Like, there's an umbrella under abusive, but you know what abusive means. But the other word, tell me the other word again. Just tell me real quick. Critical, right? So critical is more, it's much more broad. But if this is gonna be an argument, or if it's gonna, like, why can't we just use both? This way we're satisfying Cabe. We are sticking to the tradition that we had with ours. If I'm wrong, please correct me, and that's what I'm here to learn.
Well, let's be clear, this is not Cabe's.
Jeff is gonna, please have it.
It's not Cabe. Okay, all right.
Sorry.
yeah.
Jeff's gonna respond to you.
So, and I think a little context helps with this particular scenario. Remember that the original language that was put into this was done prior to there being social media. And so one of the things that's very important to understand is that the writers of this at that time, they wrote the word critical because writing a critical email back then, kind of carried more weight. And unfortunately, the culture of the whole world and the internet has changed where now anybody can tweet anything they want. I think that, the logic to this is I think there will be people that will be voicing their opinions, but I think that there is a line between being critical and being abusive of those people. And since it is within our control as an organization to say you may not use our technology in an abusive manner, I think that that's a fair thing. There's also other parts within the document that also kind of drill into that in a way that helps to refine it more. It's not quite like a, cut and dry in that way. So I think that, my humble opinion, I wouldn't recommend cutting it. I would definitely say, the inclusion of the word inclusive over critical is a lot more directed, and it speaks to that. And again, all policies are open to interpretation, so.
Ms. Casimir, do you have any more questions? Your hands down.
No, I'm just looking up the policy right now. No, thank you. No more
Thank
questions.
you. Are there any further questions on the motion? So all in favor of the policy as amended, moving the policy to second read as amended, you can say aye. Any opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay, one abstention. Any other abstentions? Excuse me. All right, that one passes to a second read. And that will be brought before the second read will be brought before the full board. The next item is the sexual abuse prevention and sexual education policy number 5145.511.
So yes, this policy was reviewed at the Policy and Personnel Committee meeting on May 14th. It was recommended for the first read. This is a mandated policy we do not currently have. The policy gives the definition of various terms, including sexual violence, sexual abuse, sexual assault, etc. The policy also describes sexual abuse prevention and education programs and the professional development that must occur for all staff. It describes the age-appropriate educational materials for students in grades K through 12. The policy states the reporting expectations for all school employees who are aware of such behaviors described above. And there's also a sample opt-out letter that parents can use if they do not want their child participating in the sexual abuse prevention education program. There was also the recommendation from the committee to add some of the information from the policy, including the parent opt-out letter, into the student handbook. And this is the first read based on the committee. In conversation with our athletic director, as part of, I know that came up tonight, as part of the rewriting of our health curriculum and looking at the state standards in terms of the sexual abuse prevention education program, finding ways of embedding that into the health curriculum in K through 12 to ensure that we are meeting the mandates from that state statute.
Yeah, again, this is another one I asked to have a first read on because I've never been did we find out the answer to my question about the opt-out versus opt-in? Because I've never been a fan of the opt-out, the negative permission.
And I mean, that would be up to the board and the superintendent in terms of which way to go. Most districts that I have spoken to use an opt-out because we want everyone learning this content.
Yeah, no doubt.
Parents who would rather teach the children themselves, and they have the ability to opt out. So I would say most districts use an opt-out as opposed to an opt-in.
It's just a concern I just wanted to bring up, and how, I know the implementation is not us, but it might make me rest a little easier. How hard are we gonna push the knowledge to opt out, that parents can't opt out? Because we get a stack of paperwork at the beginning of the year. And sign and return this before such and such date. It's possible that people just sign it without actually reading it. I guess the same could be true for a permission slip as well. But it's just a concern. I never liked the negative affirmation permissions because
And something that could be added to that I also know districts do is when that unit is about to be taught, sometimes messaging goes home from the teacher, but the health teacher explained to the parent that during the course of this week, these are some of the items that are going to be taught, and these are going to be some of the topics. So again, I think this is something that we want all students to be able to learn, but parents obviously do have the right to opt their child out.
right, and I agree 100% that all students should definitely learn this. It's just a question. I hate giving permission without knowing. As far as what?
One moment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's like if they want to teach.
Can we just clarify? His microphone wasn't on it. He asked for clarification. So go ahead, clarify. Just want to make sure they have it on the record over there.
Right. Okay. If a certain lesson comes up, we've already opted out, say in the beginning of the year. And this lesson is something that a parent, not myself, another parent that I'm putting myself in their shoes, has an objection to their child learning. They don't have that opportunity to opt out. It's like we wouldn't send out opt out of a field trip. We need constructive permission to do a field trip and a lot of other things.
Wait, and if you're gonna speak, you have to put, I'm just saying, put your microphone on so that we have it on record. Because there's people online who cannot hear you.
Because at the beginning of the year, they didn't sign the sheet saying, I don't want my child to be taught this. That's the way this process spells out. That's what you're asking about.
Correct. If they
I
don't
just want to
sign-
make sure I
Right,
understand
if
your
they don't-
question.
Right, if they don't sign the paper in the beginning of the year, and there's no notification that that lesson is being given, and then
And what
second opt-out.
What I
gets
understand
automatically
Dr.
taught.
Stacky to have just said is we could send the opt-out at the time of the lesson.
Correct. Addition to
In
what
addition
would
to the
come.
beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And that
Correct.
satisfies my
Okay. Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
Yes.
But I think, but you have to be clear though of what you're going to do in addition to the policy. You know, so if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have to make sure that every staff member that's teaching a health class understands that before you teach that lesson, you're gonna have to do another opt-out. So you gotta be very clear about that. And so if you're gonna do it, it's gonna need to be put in, but a lot of topics will be, you know, something that a parent may not want. So you're gonna be opting out all the time, guys. I mean, so that's why the recommendation is you opt out, and if you wanna opt back in on something, because the policy is addressing the masses. So it's easier to address it that way with the opt out. You know, I know that 8th grade curriculum is going to be this topic and sexual whatever. And so, as a parent, you have the ability to say, I don't want my kid to do that, so I'm opting out. So don't teach that to my child. That's what the policy is telling me, right? And so that's the obligation of the policy. So we need to be able to do it that way. And we can be sensitive to a parent that may be hearing of the topic for the last 6 weeks of school that they're going to be addressing that. Then we can do that as a practice, but I don't want to put it in policy to do that either, right? So, I mean, I just want you to be clear. I don't want us to make recommendations that's not going to be something that we're going to adhere to, everybody in the district is going to adhere to, because that policy right there, everybody's going to do it.
Ms. Casimir?
Thank you. The only comment that I have about this, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, it's repeated, during the whole entire policy. And, Madam Chair, who has an advanced degree in, social work, and Dr. Saki, with your background, I feel that sexual abuse and sexual harassment are not broken down enough. Not broken down enough. And what I mean by that is being very specific with these kids, you see, because not you guys, but there are many people that underestimate these kids, these Bridgeport Public School kids. These kids are super smart. Okay. And so when you talk, what is sexual harassment? Rape. I don't see anything about rape in here. I don't see anything about touching other people's private parts. Like, what about the kids? Because and again, we're low in test scores with reading and math, right? So I think that it's absolutely critical to break down what does sexual harassment mean, because these kids could be doing something that's sexual harassment or any kind of sexual offensive, and they might not, and they don't know, because they haven't been giving the definition of sexual harassment on their level, is what I'm saying. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to put into perspective, like breaking it down even more without being super graphic, is what I'm saying.
So in the policy covers the umbrella terms. So I'm gonna let Dr. Saki answer this, clarify if I'm saying this wrong, but within the curriculum that we have, that would probably be addressed in that curriculum. I'll let Dr. Saki address that.
Yes, I'll say that is correct. And Ms. Casimir, if you look at the definitions section, pages were numbered, but it does give the definition, but to your point, it's not as explicit. When it comes to the term sexual assault, there were actually two choices. And I had recommended the first choice. And the second choice, I think it is a little bit more explicit. It does specify the exact word rape, and then some more words that I thought I just felt that the first one was a bit clearer and more appropriate than the
I'm
second one. but-
sorry, yeah, Dr. Saki, can you just back up for a second, because I don't see the page that you're talking about with the definitions. Can you give me like, is it
So-
P5, what, 145.551B? Is it, yeah, like which
So
one?
if you look at policy number 5145.511, the very first page,
The first page. The first page that I have says A, right? 511A? That's what I'm looking at.
That's the one.
okay, and it says students, and then it says exploitation, sexual
Yes,
harassment.
yes, yes,
And then if you
yes,
see
yes,
right
yes.
underneath that, it says
Oh, and then
definitions.
definitions. Yeah.
Yep.
And
So,
where does the word, what I was talking about, like the word rape, for instance, like which one is that under?
correct. So under sexual assault specifically,
Assault.
when we looked at the CABE document, so I don't know if you have both the CABE document and the revised document, or do you only see the revised document?
No, I'm just looking at the revised document, but I'll look up the
Okay,
CABE one.
so-
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so during our committee meeting, that was discussed. And I can
Okay.
read you what the other one says. It's a bit more graphic, but I can read that if you would
I'm
like.
ready.
Okay.
Yeah, please, let's get it over with. Please read it.
Um,
Hold on. But it's not going back to committee. Second read.
Is it not appropriate?
Go ahead.
to read it?
It's
Okay.
good? Okay.
Sexual assault can be defined as any type of sexual contact or behavior that occurs by force or without consent of the recipient of the unwanted sexual activity. This includes sexual activities such as forced sexual intercourse, forcible sodomy, child molestation, incest, fondling, and attempted rape. It includes sexual acts against people who are unable to consent, either due to age or lack of capacity. So we had between choosing that and choosing the one that I had recommended that says sexual assault.
Okay, so that's what I'm missing, Dr. Sack. And Madam Chair, is the CABE one, is that within our documents
That's
or?
in the committee portal.
Yes, that's in the
Committee
committee
portal.
portal.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I'll go back to that. Okay, thank you very, very much. Now I understand. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Mr. Traber.
I want to agree with the superintendent about, the beginning of the year versus, leaving it up to teachers to remember to send out the notice before they teach a certain part of the subject matter. I think that's a more, reasonable way to approach it. And I do want to, in this, I think that makes more sense. I'm remembering the days when we used to teach your body is changing to fourth and fifth graders. And we never sent anything home. We just had the nurse come upstairs and
Yep.
Broke up the classes. So
Mr. Sakalovic.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to bring us to approve the sexual abuse prevention and education program policy 5145.33 as presented by Dr. Saki for the next board meeting. Policy 5145.511 as presented by Dr. Saki for a second read at the next board.
Moved by Mr. Sakalovic for a second read and seconded by Mr. Traber. Any further debate on this? All in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any abstentions? So this will go before the full board for the next, for the second read. The last item is the comparability of services, Title I, equivalence in instructional staff and materials, policy 6161.3.
So this is another mandated policy, and this policy gives some background information as well as information on Title I and family engagement. The policy breaks down family engagement at both the district and school levels. This includes the creation of a school and district level parent compact. The compact will include expectations for parental engagement, a process for continuously involving parents in their children's education, Mrs. Kolovic had asked if some of the wording in the policy could be changed. I am still waiting on further guidance on this, but since this is policy and it's a mandated policy based on a state statute, it is not recommended to change some of the language in it. Mr. Kolovic wanted to change the word comparable to equitable, as well as change the word equivalency to equity. But I would recommending keeping the verbiage that CABE used. I am still waiting to get the final response from CABE.
Sullivan?
Just one moment, comparable service. Okay, yeah, since that meeting, I've had some time to do some research, including within CABE's portal. There's alternate policies CABE has that actually address my concerns. For example, there's one that's, if we could reach out to them, for the purposes of determining comparability and compliance with 220 USC 6321, the district may exclude state and local funds expended for English language learners, instruction, and education programs, excess costs associated with providing services to students with disabilities, unexpected changes in enrollment, staff salary differential for years improvement, other expenditures from supplemental state and local funds and consistent with the intent of Title I. And then there's somewhere also that says, nothing in this policy will prohibit the administration from addressing identified problems at individual schools. So the language, somebody else besides me has thought of these things, that language of comparability being too restrictive and having to make those exceptions. So much so that they included a whole thing. This is in CABE's board documents. It's in there, what you call the overall thing that we're looking at now, the CABE policy board.
Portal?
No, it's what we want to buy and start using. Board, yes. Yeah, and I came across it in the board book. So if we could just, I don't know, put this one back to committee, because I do feel the need, because comparable, equitable, even the state, even a portion of the state statute address equity quite a few times rather than equality or comparability. Because to be comparable, Blackham would have to get the same amount of books as Cross. And Cross got 3 times less students, and vice versa. Equitable, or taking on, with the same thing goes through with staff. This school got 6 ELL teachers. This school got 1 ELL teacher. That's not comparable, but it's equitable because one school got 10 times the population of English language learners than another school. So I would suggest that we table this, get the answers to the questions to see if it's possible to substitute the policy that CABE also got. Because what we got to understand is CABE has 169 districts. They're not writing for Bridgeport particularly. All these districts modify their policies. We can't be afraid of modifying and asking questions to see if it passes legal muster for something that fits our needs, because this is something that's going to be a living document going forward with our track record 50 years before it's touched again and looked at again.
Good Chair.
Yes.
That, I think, again, it's a recommendation from Mrs. Sokolovic, but also I think for me, I think adopting the CABE policy in the interim and then going back into research to see if there's something else and bring that back to the committee would be feasible, because we're trying to, complete the mandated policy. CABE also provides that guidance, and I think the guidance was there. I think being able to get back some clarity to address Mr. Sokolovic's concern is also important. But I think we just need to have something on the books right now, which is the guidance from CABE. But then I think we need to expedite trying to get clarity from CABE. If you need for me to get on a phone call and talk to Jody, we can do that in order to expedite that. But again, I think for the recommendation that we have is to go with the policy recommendation from Gabe with the ability to be able to go back and modify that policy if we get the clarity that we need to modify.
Mr. Traver?
Yeah, so if we pass first read tonight and we come to the next meeting and we've clarified that there is the ability to use equity in lieu of comparability, then we could simply move to change the language and it would be a repeat first read. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then I would comfortable doing that.
Mr. Kolovich?
Yeah, my concerns is this committee meeting was probably, when was this committee meeting?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? And we reached out to Cabe. We're under the gun from the state, yes, but we're still well within our time frame that we put. We're moving along. We approved how many policies? I lost count of all the policies we approved that we haven't had in years. Why not do it right the first time?
I think
Mr. Medina could call another meeting. He's planning on calling another meeting before the last board meeting. If it's thoroughly vetted and these answers are given to us by Cabe, who's assisting us with the state and getting these policies out towards a timeline, to simply ask, can it be substituted? I mean, we got to do this right the first time. In the interim, while we wait, there's going to be other things popping up. It's going to be other policies. We got to look through all the series over and over. We're supposed to be looking at them every other year. If we simply go by, this is what Kay put before us, let's ask no questions, let's make no revisions. We're just gonna be like the 169 things. We are not Westbrook, we are not Westport, we are not Stanford, we are not even Waterbury. We need to tailor our policies to our needs because I, for one, once a policy is in place, I expect it to be followed with fidelity. Not just pass it to pass it because the state's looking at us to get out from under the gun. No, we got to pass smart, logical, well thought out policies that we can all live with. Not only us, but that the people that come after us live with. Because we're living with policies right now from 1950s, probably some of them. So that being said, I'd like to make a motion to table this and motion to refer back to the policy committee.
There's a motion.
It's a motion. Is there a second?
No second to this motion, so is there any other motions?
Move to approve comparability of services, Title I, equivalence and instructional staff and materials, policy 6161.3.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a second.
For, well, as a first read and discussion.
Yeah. Any further debate on that? As to make a motion, do you have anything?
Nope.
Anyone else? Mr. Sokolovich?
Yeah, just want to point out, the next meeting is on, what's the next meeting date?
June 9th.
June 9th. Please reach out to Cabe, ask him, I'll send the email myself, because that's kind of quicker I am than Cabe late, so.
I will get an answer tomorrow, yeah.
I will actually be up there then.
And I'll actually direct them to the policy and ask them if this could be substituted as well.
When's the legislative follow-up?
That's all.
We'll get there in a second. And let's finish the motion. Any further debate? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Mr. Sokolovich opposes. Any abstentions? That passes. You asked for the legislative update is gonna be, the wrap up is on, you said the date earlier. The 10th. Mr. Benahan, you have a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My point privilege, sorry, privilege, I don't feel good. I have to say, last Thursday, me and Mr. Medina, we went to a multicultural school about spelling B citywide. And I have to say how amazing our student did it. I was very proud, right, Mr. Medina? They did a great job. It was good, and when people say that our students, they are not ready, or they are not we're not giving education and all this negative stuff, they run. And I'm gonna keep saying they run because they did a good job. They was there, the teacher, the staff, the principals, Dr. Plana was there, Ms. Carbon was there, parents was very happy. I don't know what else I can tell you how proud I am with the students. They did a good, amazing job. And also, I have to tell you, Mr. Dr. Irie, that I'm very proud that Barnum School went to, because a parent called me to do a PPT meeting. They did an amazing job, the staff. The principal and the staff, how they help the parents. They have parents, I was very happy. And I had to do that for the record because I know they did a good job. Some people, they say they don't do the job the way it's supposed to be, and I'm against that. And I'm talking this for the record because they did a good job. They follow the protocol and policy, everything they do for our students. But I can tell you that spelling bee, it was amazing. So I'm very proud. So I want to say that for the record. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Bennett, second by Mrs. Colvick. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourning at 9:20. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.